I've just discovered something really cool about my camera I want to share. And if you're the sort of person who prefers to read than watch, if you look in the description, you will find a quick guide to what I'm talking about here. The camera that I'm using right now, my main camera, is a Sony ZV-E10. It's a oddly positioned little camera, which is good for photography, good for videography. It's kind of pitched as being for content creators. And one of the features it's got that is part of that is what's called product showcase mode. So if I hold a product up to the camera will focus on that. The reason it's doing that is it's basically rather than putting my face as the priority in a shot for focus, it is focusing on whatever is closest to the camera. But that's not always what you want. So if I was recording this video here and I gesture, then what you'll see is that it's focusing on my hand. My hand is the closest thing to the camera, so it's focusing on that instead. So ideally what you want to be able to do, but it is useful, right? Because if I hold this up like that, it's not going to focus on it. Now, if you had a camera operator who could pull focus for you, you can. Otherwise, but how can I do that? How can I switch between the product and my face and the product and my face if it's just me who's operating this stuff? Trick is this, or rather this. So this is a little remote control for the camera, a little Bluetooth, I think, remote control. And I got this for using as a remote shutter for photography. So I can either be in a scene and just press the shutter, or I could have set a 5-second timer, let's say, on the camera itself before I do, so that I press the shutter on this, put the remote in my pocket, pose with a group of friends or whatever, and it will take the shot. But it occurred to me as I was talking to my friend Ben the other day, there is a button on here called, you'll see here, C1. That's custom one. Now that is reflecting a button that's on the camera. And because it's a custom button, you can make it be whatever you want it to be. By default on the camera, C1 switches to a mode which turns bokeh on. So it means that regardless of what you're shooting, it will prioritize wide aperture shooting like I'm doing now. So I'm on f1.4 just now, so the background's quite blurry versus me who's quite sharp. But I realized I could dedicate this button not to that, but to product showcase mode. And so if I bring this up into shot, there's my face. And so you might have noticed like influencers do this thing where they sort of hold a product up and they cover their face so that the camera isn't seeing the face, so that it focuses on the product, which has become a vernacular, but you don't have to do that. So if I hold this up to shot here, it's not focusing on this product. It's not focusing on this product. You can see my face, so it's not focusing on it. If I press this button here, it will toggle product showcase mode on, and so it will focus on this. Press it again, toggles it off, focuses on me. So most of the time, I can have it set to be not on product showcase mode, so it focuses on me, and I've got the camera set up so that face priority is true in wide autofocus mode, so whenever it sees a face it will try to focus on that. But I can invisibly out of frame have this in my hand, so that when I bring a product into shot I can switch it on and it will focus then on whatever I want to focus on. To be clear, the fact that I'm putting up makeup here is kind of just a fun thing. I don't tend to do makeup show-off videos, but it's really handy. There is one significant irritating caveat to all this, which is you cannot switch between product showcase mode being on and off while you are filming. So if you press record on the camera, you can't toggle with this or with anything else with buttons on the, because I could have like reached around the back of my camera and pressed the button to toggle product showcase mode on, but it's a bit inelegant. When you're filming, you can't toggle product showcase mode on and off. And yet I've been doing that this whole video. So how have I been doing that? Because I'm not recording onto my camera's internal memory right now. I am taking the HDMI feed out of the camera and recording via an HDMI interface into a computer. So that's the trick. If you want to be able to have this thing where you can, as a solo content creator, toggle between focusing on a thing that's the closest to the camera or focusing back on your face, getting a little remote like this one, which allows you to, in the settings, you've got to go into your camera settings and say, I want the C1 button to be in movie mode, the toggle for product showcase, then you can have that. Only caveat is you then have to take the HDMI signal out and record it with an ATEM Mini, or I'm going via a Rode X Streamer X, which is going into my Mac. I'm just recording this in QuickTime. But you can do that. So go into the settings, set this up, and you've got the flexibility to be able to decide whether I focus on me or focus on the thing in front of me. So nice.